Anyway, let's continue with the game. My apologies for the little problem there. Wasn't counting on that happening. But yes, as I was saying, it looks like Chris should be doing a 22 population feudal straight up, doing a very standard build there. Bender doing the same, and very little in it. There's like, what, 2% in their upgrade times? This looks like it's going to be a really nice, very close game. And yeah, I can't remember what I was saying before the stream dropped out, so oh well. Let's see how they play it then. I'm surprised Chris perhaps not playing a little bit more aggressive, though, saying that he's sending some villagers forwards now. I think he probably is going aggressive then. Yeah, 3 villagers forward. We'll see where he builds, and we'll see what he does. It's probably just going to be a forward barracks and a forward archery range. I don't think he'll go for scouts here. He's not got enough villagers taking food at the moment. So it's probably going to be a range. And the skirmishers are cheaper on the food as well, so you can safely keep villager production going whilst he sends these villagers forwards. Perhaps we'll see a forward tower as well, but I'm not surprised that he's going forward. I think he wants to keep Bender on the defensive so that he can actually secure himself a little bit of gold later on, once he wants to go up to the castle age, or once he wants to make a transition into... if he wants to make a transition, sorry, into... what's it called? Bloody archers. That's what I'm looking for. I'm getting distracted by the chat because you guys are saying that the stream's offline again. I don't see it offline. It seems online to me. So if you can't see the stream, then I don't know why I'm telling you to F5, because you can't hear me say this because you can't see the stream. But if you're watching the stream and people are saying they can't see the stream, tell them to hit F5 so that they can now see the stream. Anyway, that made no sense. Whatever. Archery range going up for Chris then. We've got an archery range for Bender as well. Both of them going for archers here. Chris adding in some spears for good measure, and he did manage to snipe Bender's scout there as well, getting that feudal upgrade a fraction of a second earlier. Gave him that +2 attack a fraction of a second earlier, and gave him enough of a chance to kill that scout off, which was very nice. Very nice indeed. So spears coming out for both. Skirmishers coming out for both. Did I call it, or did I call it? Neither of them even touching their gold. Who needs gold when you can have trash walls all day long? And look at this tower location for Chris. I wish he put it there. That would be the most perfect little indent for a tower that you've ever seen. Towers with 8 range, though, probably will hit this lumber camp, actually. And Chris, so aggressive, so early on. Looking really nice so far. And if this tower goes up, going to really disrupt this wood line from Bender, but Bender's spotted it out. I think he's spotted it. No, he hasn't. Wow, he's not even spotted that tower, but preemptively putting it up. He doesn't know Chris is building a tower here unless he did the palisade wall, unless he scanned it. That's the only way he would know a tower's going up, but he sees it now. The tower is there, and these villagers are forced to retreat. Will he cancel this tower, or will he commit? He is committing. He is 100% committed to the tower and to the game. And maybe he will get Chris's tower down. It will have to take a little bit of time, though. And I don't know if it's actually in range. Doesn't look like it. Gonna have to wait for fletching to come in for that tower to be effective there. So Bender gonna be pushed away from the wood here, but later on he could put some skirmishers in this tower, could get that fletching upgrade and take this tower down from Chris quite easily, should he desire to do so. But this is a really nice classic Chris forward, classic Chris, and adding in loads and loads of skirmishers at this point in time. No blacksmith yet, not gonna bother with that for a while, I don't think. And looping around this left hand side now to see if we can hit some of Bender's eco. Of course, skirmishers, terrible units for dealing with economy or killing economy, but he might just about snipe one villager if he can get enough spears sunk into his very strong flesh. This villager is totally loomed up, so yeah, these scams gonna do nothing. They do nothing anyway, but yeah, they're just so ineffective. Anyway, you might be wondering why Bender was building these palisade walls here. The reason for that is to prevent the villagers from going all the way around this back side to take the wood. He wants to prevent them from chopping these stragglers going all the way around the back. He wants to make sure his villagers stay close to the lumber camp. So that is what this palisade walling is here for. So another, oh, there we go, blacksmith from Chris, and I was going to say maybe another archery range, maybe going up to 3 ranges, but no, he's going for the blacksmith, and he's decided it is time to upgrade these skirmishers. Now, the thing with skirmishers is that they're so weak at killing villagers that when they get upgraded with fletching, they don't actually do any more damage. They get +1 damage, but they still only do 1 damage to the villagers because the villagers have 2 pierce armor. So that's kind of funny. The only difference here that the fletching is going to make is that they're going to do a little bit of extra ranged, a little bit of extra range even. So +1 range, which means they can hit from further away. But they're going to do no more damage to the villagers, which is, I find kind of amusing. It's going to help him out against the skirmishers of Bender. No, it's not. Yeah, fletching just a weird choice for skirms, I think. It makes so much sense when you're doing archers, but with skirmishers, the only advantage it's giving him now is a range advantage, and that's going to be a slight advantage for micromanagement. But he's got a huge number of skirms here already, and Bender having quite a bit of idle time on these villagers. And it's still only on 1 range versus Chris's 2. Chris could come forward at any time and take some gold now. And that is probably going to be coming in very soon for him. Because he's going to want that Castle Age upgrade eventually. Even if he's making skirmishes all day, he'll want that upgrade eventually. Now, his army is so much larger at this point in time. We've got 19 skirms for Chris versus the 10 skirms for Bender. So it's nearly a 2-to-1 military advantage for Chris at the moment. And he's even mining Bender's gold now. So forget this gold. Why take your own gold when you can take your opponent's? Chris taking that gold of Bender at the front of the map there, and that's going to be good. He's going to afford the Castle Age eventually if he has these villagers gathering that. Bender's trying to get a little bit of stone here, putting these villagers' lives at risk for that stone. I think he wants to get just enough for a tower. He's going to need another 15 or 16 even to be precise, and that's going to be pretty tough with this number of skirmishers here. They might only do 1 damage to villagers, but if you've got 40 of them, they'll still one-shot them, and Chris is approaching 40 skirmishers now as he continues to add them in. And I wonder if he's going to make archers or if he will literally just continue taking gold until he's got 200. At the moment, no sign of archers at all, and actually adding in a stable now to create some scout cavalry to pad his army out, do some more eco damage, and perhaps take these skirmishers out as well. We've got a stable going up for Bender as well now at the back, so he's going to be adding in some scouts. And you've just got to question this really, because for Bender now, he's in a real defensive position. And Chris has a lot of skirms, right? So his answer to that at the moment is Scout Cavalry. Now, Scout Cavalry are, you know, they're okay in theory. They're going to kill the skirmishers. They're going to disrupt them. They're going to do a good job. But Chris has got a couple of spears in here. Not many, granted, but he has got a couple. And the scouts, on its own, 1 scout's not going to kill this many skirmishers. There's just way too many of them there now. But these scouts, more to the point, cost a ton of food. Bender's going to have to either make his TC go idle or make tons of farms. And that's going to delay his Castle Age even more. Now, in this day and age, the strategy, the meta even, is to make maybe 3 or 4 scouts at the start of the feudal age and then transition into archers so that you can do a good castle time. Because right now, if Bender had 1 mangonel, he would kill this army in an instant. But instead of doing that, he's actually opting for the scouts. And while it's really cool to see a really nice long feudal war, it really doesn't make a lot of sense, let's be honest. I mean, he could just wall up, go up to the Castle Age, continue to make some skirms perhaps, and still do a decent castle time, even with the skirmisher production. 1 mangonel would flatten all of these guys, and that's not going to happen. But Chris now starting to add some archers by the looks of things, adding the occasional archer when he gets the gold for it, with just 3 villagers taking gold still, and he's going all in, obviously all in on the feudal age unit production. He's on 78 population versus the 51 of Bender, but Bender trying to wall himself up here. Trying to wall this left-hand side. He's got his right side walled, which is nice. These villagers on the front are at risk, and in fact, this is actually open now. If Bender isn't careful, Chris could come in here between the wall, the trees and the lake, he could bring his skirms in and start sniping the villagers in this wood line. That could be really effective, actually, because some of these guys are pretty weak already. And yeah, I would say that Chris is not far from 40 skirmishes at the moment. He's on 32, yeah. He's 8 away from being able to one-shot a villager. Multiple times more skirmishes needed than archers, but hey, it's fun. Bender, another stable now, though that is just to stop this wall from going down. That's why he's put it there. But another stable? Are we actually going to see double stable scouts from him? Well, we will see, I guess. No counterattack at the moment from Bender either. He is literally just defending. And, well, Chris is in. So we'll see how this one goes. Spears out for Bender here. Gonna try and get those scouts as fast as he can. Chris has actually done bloodlines now, which is a fantastic upgrade for the scouts, though they are taking a beating from these spearmen. Downhill attacks and everything going in there. Tower on the hill for Bender, doing a tiny amount of damage, but Chris taking out most of this army under this TC already. And there's just so many units here. Archers to mixed in as well, so villagers going to die very quickly to this. And if Bender defends this, I'm going to be amazed, because he's got so little back here. So little. Why is Chris going back? Maybe he's a little bit cautious about taking damage from this tower, but look at Chris's army. So many scouts here, unupgraded with the attack and defense, but they do have bloodlines, and he's actually making them from 2 stables as well. He's got the skirms, he's got the archers, he's got everything at this point in time. The only thing he hasn't got is the castle age upgrade, and Bender seems to be heading down that route, which I'm very, very glad he is. Actually gonna click up to the castle age after this villager now. And why Chris went back, I don't know. It seems to me like that made no sense at all. I mean, he could have just come in back here, raided the gold. He could have come back to this wood line. Sure, he didn't know that there was nothing there, but surely it would have been worth it. Anyway, Bender at the moment, 0 wood income. Nothing at all. And yet Chris still going back, which doesn't make much sense to me at all. And in fact, sending those scouts back to his base to perhaps defend from a counterattack from Bender here. Bender with just 2 scout cavalries going up to the corner of the map. Maybe looking to kill a couple of villagers from Chris. But yeah, why did Chris go back? I don't know. It looks like Chris wants to go up to the castle age as well now. But Bender's clicked up, and he's on 32%. Chris, on the other hand, he's nearly about to click up. He's nearly up to 800 food. He's nearly got the 200 gold that he needs. Starting to take the gold on the front now as well. And Bender, so little wood income. Absolutely nothing in terms of wood. But we know what he's going to do. He's got a ton of... He's got a ton of food, he's got a ton of gold, he's obviously going to go for knights, he's doing bloodlines right now as well, he's doing scaled barding armor, and he's going to go for knights, which means that this army of skirmishers from Chris is going to get absolutely destroyed. Now this is why I think going mass skirms in the feudal age just makes no sense, and why nobody does it unless they're playing the Byzantines these days, because as soon as your enemy gets up to the castle age, 3 or 4 knights will kill this entire army. 1 or 2 hits from a mangonel will kill this entire army. The only time that these skirmishes are going to be good is in defense, and at the moment it's Chris who's being the aggressor. So yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense that the metagame has changed in all these years, but hey, it changes for a reason. And you have to give the game a lot of time, a lot of years for those meta changes to start making sense. Anyway, knights. So 5 knights, 6 knights queued, 7 knights queued. I can't even count how many knights there are, but there's a lot of knights. And Bender gonna get straight out aggressive now with these knights. I think gonna get maybe 3 or 4. And start dealing with Chris. He could take down this tower pretty easily. I think for Bender, a siege workshop would be fantastic, so he can fall back and be defensive if he needs to be. But yeah, knight production going out, and this could be bad for Chris. He's got a decent-sized army, but it's mostly skirmishers, which knights are great at dealing with. So Bender's trying to hit Chris's eco. We've seen how great he is at raiding, actually. So far, he has done some fantastic raiding on Chris in the last game, and now that raiding seems to be starting again, starting to hit these villagers in the on the gold pile. And just look at these skirmishers. There's so many of them, but they did no damage at all, which I find quite hilarious. It's fantastic. Chris missing his opportunity there to hit these guys with the spears as well. Chris now up to the castle age, and Chris actually doing a second TC straight away on this left-hand side. He loves to boom, that's for sure. This one knight in here getting taken down, slowly but surely getting taken down. That took some time, actually. That took a lot of time. He's still got 2 health left. gonna get like 4 kills with that one knight before it went down. That's kind of cool. And Chris desperately trying to get that town center up. Of course, he will now succeed. But this fight going on the left side, Bender's knight's gonna do huge damage to Chris, and this could be a little bit of a comeback from Bender here, as long as he's not careless and doesn't sit underneath this town center for too long. Gold pile here getting taken down by Bender as well. The Knights having a really big impact on this game, and Bender actually putting up a second TC on this right side as well. So his economy probably not going to be too far behind, but the population is still massively in favor of Chris, 94 to 67, and Chris at the moment not doing any upgrades at all, it seems. Nothing for the skirmishers, no defense upgrades there at all, but he is starting to make some knights of his own. He's got +1/+1, and he's starting to add some knights in of his own now. A few knights out for Chris, but Chris doesn't have much gold income. He's still not got much gold, and he's actually struggling to make knights at this point in time. He's got 4 stables, but not enough gold to make, any more knights at this point. He needs a lot more gold income than that. At the moment, he's got, what, 4 villagers taking gold? Meanwhile, at Bender's base, Bender's got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 villagers on the gold. That's enough to easily support 2 stables and knights. And I think Bender is actually making a little bit of a comeback here, which is fantastic. Most of Chris's population, or a lot of Chris's population, is tied up in skirmishers. And they are absolutely redundant at this point in time. Even if they get the elite upgrade, they are useless. And these knights from Bender gonna outnumber Chris, and he's doing a fantastic job so far of pushing this one back. And now if he can just get that 3rd TC up, this comeback from Bender could be absolutely fantastic. And I'm still left questioning why on earth Chris did not continue to push in when he was inside Bender's base and killing his villagers off like that. I just don't know. Light cavalry upgrade for Chris did get completed. And I mean, he had a few scouts, so it's worth doing that upgrade. But even still, against knights, you're going to have a tough time. And Chris now bringing in the skirms. That just could be a suicide mission for these guys. If Bender turns around and starts fighting this army, this entire army would probably get taken down by 2 or 3 knights in a matter of minutes. A matter of seconds, maybe. In fact, so Bender's regained map control. He's taken that gold back on the front. He's regained his economy. He's got that 2nd town center up and running, and at the moment he's really starting to pressure Chris. Chris has got a 3rd TC up though, and now he's starting to take some gold seriously. Chris trying to get some more knights in production. He's got knights coming out from 2 stables at a time at the moment, but I think now he's struggling for food, as he's got a lot of villagers inside these TCs, and Bender has got the advantage in cavalry. Chris with 10 knights at the moment, Bender with 19, and it's fantastic. The Castor, thank you very much, donated $1.25, saying donate train. Maybe I missed another donation then, because unless that's the start of the train, I don't know if there's been any more. Thank you very much, man. Bender then doing a fantastic job of pushing this one back. Really nice little comeback there. Got it defend back at home for now though against Chris's knights on this left hand side, but he really does have the advantage in that knight, in those knight numbers. Chris relying on those good old pikemen though. He's got that pikeman production back in action from the last game as well. It seemed like he was really relying on the pikes there. And whoa, Chris on this left side doing a nice job actually. And maybe we'll see some pikes from Bender here. In fact, yeah, he's starting to add some spears in now from 2 barracks. And spears, pikemen, absolutely fine in defense. And Chris yet again going back. I don't know why. Just go in. Look at this. This gold. It's asking to be killed off. Fantastic stuff. Why no halberds? Well, halberdier aren't available in the castle age, but spears are, and they are in production at the moment. Bender though hitting Chris's eco back here, and I just, these are the days when walls weren't used. Walls were just as overpowered then as they are now. But do you see Chris walling? Nah. Do you see Bender walling? A little bit, but not with stone walls. Foof has donated $1.32. Choo choo. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. You guys always make me laugh. You are the best Twitch chat I've ever seen. You're always so friendly, and you're always so awesome. Chris, though, still got a presence here inside of Bender's base. Enadil2 donated $1. Donate train. Is this going to alternate between donate train and choo choo? That'll be funny. Anyway, Chris, yeah, still got a presence here on this left-hand side. Bender now. This is actually looking pretty troublesome. Losing a lot of villagers on these farms. Pale Autumn. Sorry if I said your name wrong. $1. Donate train. The train is teal. My gosh. Yeah, he's actually got a few idle pikes here. I didn't even notice how long those pikes had been there for, but it seems like they've been a while. And wow, I think that's it. I think Bender has just, yeah, lost it. He had it all, and he lost it all. And in the end, it doesn't even matter. Bender looks like this could be the end of the end now. He's not able to keep that night production going. His farms have been savaged and ravaged by Chris's knights. Chris keeping that presence on that left flank. I'm amazed that he managed to do that. I mean, how did Chris do that? That was really nicely done. He started that pikeman production quite early, actually, which was very good. It definitely helped him out. And it seems like Bender threw away a lot of those knights quite unnecessarily. He did kill a lot of villagers and stuff, but Chris with the 3 TCs, able to keep his villagers a little bit more protected. And now he's really started on that gold production as well. He can now actually continue that knight production very well from these stables. And wow, Bender's lost access to gold. He's been raided everywhere, and Chris now actually keeping that presence inside of Bender's base, and that's the main thing. Because before, he had the advantage, and he went back. This time, he's not going back, and that is good. That's what we want to see. Chris doesn't need to go back now. He can just clean up these villagers and take it from there. At the back now, a monk from Chris, so he's going to be able to convert a knight back here. Coda2K donated $1.25. Choo choo, motherfucker. Oh my god. You guys are funny. You make me laugh so much. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and Chris looks like now he has got this game in the bag. Bender had a great comeback, but not good enough. Delta idea, $3.50. Choo choo about tree fitty. Oh yeah, tree fitty dollars. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Bender though is playing on. And it's you know, you guys make it pretty difficult to cast as well. Not complaining, but it's getting tough. He's still hanging on in there. A few cavalry archers out on the map now. The first cavalry archers we've seen all game. And they're coming in at the 42-minute mark. Bender on 53 population. Chris on 93. 40 population lead. But Bender is hanging on in there by a thread. Chris now with that 4 TC on the front. And surely Chris has got this game at this point in time. You would really think that at this point he's got it, because he's got a lot of army advantage. He's got a huge eco advantage. He's building a siege workshop on the front. All these buildings are in a forward location, so he can keep that pressure on very easily. And Bender still just holding on. Chris going back once again. Why are you going back, Chris? You've got this in the bag. And there's the GG from Bender. At long last, he is going to resign, and Chris taking the game. And that was actually a really good game. It was quite back and forth, and we had a nice little discussion as well on the meta game and how it's changed throughout the years. But I've got to say, interesting stuff indeed, and I liked that game because it was a little bit back and forth. The comeback from Bender was really nice, but Chris managed to come back once again. Nuclei, Chugga Chuggington, Chuggington. Fantastic. Thank you very much, man. So yeah, that comeback from Bender was great, but Chris bringing it right back again. And like I say, all it needed from Bender was a few walls, a fast castle. Well, not a fast castle, but a faster castle, and a mangonel, and he would have saved the day. Happy Camelika Martin donated $5. Keep shoveling, boy. This train cannot stop. Coke that oven. Yeah, I liked that game a lot, and I just love the fact that it's not all about cavalry archers here. And whoa, holy shit. Wizard Winner, you are just insane. I think you, no offense, but $50. You just what? Choo choo, choo choo. I have to read your messages out. That's it's the rules. But thank you so much. I mean, Wizard Winner, you obviously have more money than sense because you just keep sending stuff, and I don't know why. But thank you so much. Mart Zink, $13.37. Someone is leaked. Guys, stop. Anyway. That was that one. We'll have a look at the achievements very quickly. Chris with the overall score lead there. Excuse my really spazzy mouths there. 158 units killed. 114 lost. I mean, so many units lost. Kind of crazy there. Largest army, 50 for Chris. Of course he had the largest army, but look at his eco. The entire game, of course he was ahead. Doesn't matter about the tech. Villager count. The villager high was so close. Yet somehow Chris had all that extra eco. That is simply because he did better raiding, and he had those villagers sooner rather than later. And there's the timeline if anyone cares. I never really understood the timeline. Does anyone know why? I think it's kind of nice in like a team game. But in 1v1, I'm just, yeah, I don't get